Hello, welcome back. Part 3. Wraith Island. So we got a lot of stuff to cover in this one. I'll try to be brief in most of the sections because there's a lot that's going to be going on and it's going to happen rather rapidly. So we may stop from time to time and just kind of talk about things a little bit, but we'll try to keep that to a minimum. So finishing out Act 2, we've come over to Wraith Island, and you're going to start out at the docks here. So you just move your way right. The best way to go about this is to hug the north ceiling here as you're coming across. And if you're following along with this route, you're going to grab another conch right here. It's very quick and just kind of tears you out of your way only for a couple of seconds. Once you get across here, you're going to go far south this time. And even if the zombie sees you, as you see, he just can't catch you if you're kind of going straight and along the wall there. So, very safe. We're going to come up into Lucent. You're going to buy a new weapon for Zale here. You're going to swap up for the Scrimshaw Blade. And go in for the scene. And we'll talk to this guy. Previously, there was a lot of like running around in the upstairs in this kind of whole section with Lucent. And you'll see kind of later after we finish the various sections and we kind of come back to Lucent that like it starts us in a different place every time now. So that's something new to Dawn of Equinox that you kind of just have to be aware of. When you end those scenes, you're usually going to start in a different place each time. Here we are in the Cursed Woods. First fight up here, it's going to go either left or right. I like to go left. Just kind of go around. And we got our first fight. Now, a lot of these fights, you're going to want to back attack. Just kind of sneak around the back there. So for this one, what I like to do is I like to crescent arc directly on this guy. I think you can go middle here as well, but I like to go middle here, and then we'll boost the Sunball. You want this guy gone. You do not want him to live. Depending on your timer, you may get an attack from the plant, and Garl is going to clean up here. So, you have a couple of things to think about right here, specifically. If you still have your Berry Jam, then I would recommend just ending this fight as quickly as you can and using the Berry Jam on Zale. You're going to want Sunball in the next fight, so if you have the extra MP item available to you, this is a really good chance to like use it and kind of get it out of the way and save yourself a bit of time in the process. If you don't have the Berry Jam, however, you're going to want to be careful on how you approach this, because previously you would use Solstice Strike and that would give Zale and Valere 3 MP, but you can't do that anymore. So if that is the case and you don't have the Berry Jam left, then you want to take these extra turns to try and boost Zale's MP back up. So if that's the case, normally what I'll do is I'll just full-on attack with Valere, and then I'll just go single attack with Zale and Garl until Zale can come back around and finish things off again. It is a little bit slower, but it guarantees that you're going to get the MP that you need, right? And level up. So if you didn't get MP back at level 3 for Zale, this is your next chance to get MP. We got it, so we're good. We don't need to worry about that. Normally I would select magic attack for Valere, attack for Zale in this case, and some HP for Garl. He's like, we don't have it, so we're going to grab MP. It's going to be one of those runs. And kind of like I mentioned in the last video, if there's nothing really that looks appealing, just grab the MP. So everybody has the MP they need for the next battle. Zale is a little bit low on HP, so I'm probably going to sneak in a Nourish with Garl here, just to top him back up. And we've got another encounter up here, but we're going to skip this one. Just stay along the inside. Don't worry about that zombie. His falling animation will kind of give you enough time to sneak by him, and it's pretty free if you're hugging along the wall there. So, same idea, back attack. This one we're going to go a crescent arc on the zombie. And then we're going to boost a sunball on the zombie. Girl's going to finish off. And then you're going to take Zale and sword attack and then double boost a Solstice Strike. Now you're going to watch for Big Blue. You want him to turn back down, and you want to give yourself just enough space so you can squeeze through. Now you'll try that a few times and probably mess it up, but you'll quickly soon start to see exactly at what point you can go. In here, this room can either be very volatile or very calm. It's pretty calm today. Sometimes you will need to stop and just edge your way up through the side. Oop, and we want to rest here. So up here we have left path and right path. You're going to start with the right path. Because realistically, it doesn't overly matter, but there is a quick save after this right fight. And you kind of want to get this one out of the way. This one can ruin your day. You really don't want to see triple sword lock. Cool. So you're always going to start with Zale, and you're going to use swords. And this allows you to, if it's not triple sword lock, allows you to use Moonerang to break this. And I'm going to be quiet here. I'm going to try to do a decent Moonerang here. Okay, wasn't good enough. So he's got 2 HP left. What you're hoping for is that this guy dies from the Moonerang. And if he does, it's a good indication that one hit is going to be enough to take this guy out. And I think at 22 I should be able to. Okay, just off. But ideally, Girl would like clean up with one hit on that other guy, so both of the Woodland Spirits would be gone at this point if you have a good Moonerang. Now, since that isn't the case, we need to take a turn here to clean up. I'm going to use Valere right here. And I'm going to pretend the Woodland Spirit actually doesn't exist right now, because normally he wouldn't in your runs. So you would just grab the boost and just Sunball and take these two guys out at the same time. Boom, your fight would be done. Just pretend he's not here. Right, so if you get a good Moonerang, that guy dies initially, and the other guy goes down in one hit, so it's a pretty clean fight if you hit it. Now, if you can use a title screen heal here if you want. If you're restricting yourself from that and doing sort of a single segment kind of run, then you'll want to run back and use the campfire here. We didn't really talk about title screen heals, but if you exit out to menu after autosaves and you come back into the game, you'll get a heal. So when you see saving occurring along the bottom of the screen, that's usually a good indicator that like you can exit out to title, come back, and you'll restart exactly where you kind of left off. So we'll sneak up here, back attack. If you need to air puff Big Blue because he starts running at you, like you can do that. Normally I try to just air puff him out of the way entirely before I go for the sneak attack on the guy here. So you're going to Crescent Art the bottom zombie, since that hits all three here. And again, these are all just like my personal like things that I like to do in some of these fights, so if you find better ways of doing this, by all means, go right ahead. And then we're going to boost Sunball on the same target. I'm going to take Girl to finish this guy off. It's going to give us a boost. I'm going to go Solstice Strike boosted on the zombie with Zale. And then with Girl, I'm going to do Solar Rain. We're going to assess. You got 26 left. I'm just going to go for the Crescent Arc. If you were lower than that and you want to save your MP, you go for just like a normal attack, but at that amount, I'm going to go for Strike, Crescent Strike. So kind of a safety strat, and actually I kind of like picking this up because I find it gives you nice damage boost in certain fights later on, and actually will save you a couple turns. So this is an accessory called the Shimmering Shard. It gives them some additional bonus damage to undead enemies. There is a handful, there's not a ton of them, but there's a couple bosses in particular that this is effective against. So we got our scene up here. We lose Garl, and we gain a new character, question mark, question mark. And so this guy you just kind of want to watch. I usually don't like get risky, try running in front of him. I usually wait for him to pass by and go behind him. And this one is a little more delicate right here. So on the left-hand side, you see a couple different colored flowers, some red ones and a purple one. You usually want to stand kind of like at the edge of the red ones. And when you see him, ooh, when you see him turn back to the right, that's kind of your cue to go. Be cautious though, because he can stop in the middle of his patrol and sort of like look behind. So it can be safe and then be, you know, scary all of a sudden, because it'll just stop and turn around and run towards you. But generally, for the most part, wait at the flowers, wait for him to turn back to the right, and then go. And just kind of sneak around the side here on your way out. So, end of the scene, top of the stairs. This is kind of new. Let me exit. If you feel the need to top up on items of any sort, now's a good time to do it. Just try not to go overboard on your spending. Money is still a little bit delicate. And we're going to head over to the docks. Talk to Little Skull Dude. I love this song. And it's over. So this is Flooded Graveyard. We're just going to run along the top here. We're going to avoid these guys right here. And we've got another one of these caves back here. This time we've got some daggers for Sarai, so new weapons. We'll go ahead and pick those up. They also have the shimmering factor to them. They give her some bonus damage against undead. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to stack the Shimmering Shard and the Shimmering Daggers for 10 and 15%, so 25% in total. We're going to take the Dexterous Bangle off of her. We're going to give the Power Belt to her as well. And Dexterous Bangle can go on Zale. If you did have the Abacus on Garl, you would have wanted to unequip it. So if you've I didn't mention this, but if you have any accessories equipped on Garl, you'll want to unequip them in the Cursed Woods before you end up leaving. And if that is the case, you want to put the Abacus on, you know, Sarai, if that is. But we put it on Zale earlier so that we don't have to worry about this problem. So with this room, you're going to want to lure the Ghoul kind of down into the side, and that kind of gives you the freedom to just wander up over to the wall and climb up. If he follows you anyways, just try to loop the three enemies kind of in a circle. It sounds scary, but it's not all that bad, and just kind of make your way back up to the wall. Here, you want to wait for the Ghoul to jump and continue to run, and then kind of air puff into him. Go up the right side, and if you're following Contra, this is the next Contra you're going to be picking up before the fight. You'll just want to jump off your raft and kind of swim up there and grab it. And we're going to go into Duke. Now, there's different ways you can approach this, obviously. Personally, what I like to do is I like to just pop off the fight with a Lunar Shield. Duke hits really hard, and if you can keep his locks at bay, then he's only going to do single character hits. And you end up being able to not have to worry about characters dying, you know, necessarily as much as you would if you just like popped off with some other attack move instead. With that, I start building live mana. And I'm going to give a Chaudray right off the bat to Valere here. This is so she can handle Moonlocks if they're thrown back up exactly like this. So, break these locks. You can take a boost here if you want. I'm actually saving all 3 boosts for Sarai because she has so much undead stack right now. So if you want to take a boost, you can. But do remember that you're purposely stacking shimmering equipment on Sarai right now for doing a lot of damage in this fight. Get your opportunity and go for it. If you get opportunities for Solstice Strikes, go ahead and do those too. And I would recommend Sunball here if you had mana out, but you want to make sure you have some mana out as well. So we're good for Sunball now. You always want to make sure you have mana on the ground for most situations. And see, because of our Lunar Curtains, Valere took 2 hits here, so it's kind of risky for her. We'll see if she takes a 3rd one. We'll see how RNG feels today. And so, 3 boost, Venom. Being really nice with the timers here. And just keep hammering away at him until the fight ends. His cast, the spin attack, is really slow and takes a lot of time, so if at all possible, you really want to try to break that. Once inside, you're going to try to hug the right wall and kind of come up along here. Don't worry about this goal. And the wizard, you need to pay attention to where he is when you exit the room. Now, he's like right up by the door. When you come back through at the end of the dungeon, where he was when you kind of exit the room the first time is where he's going to be when you go to enter the next time. So because he was right by the door, when we come back through later, he's going to be right there. So the general idea in this place is Sarai is going to be doing a lot of your damage to those Stalfos characters. Same idea. She's got the power belt. She's got the shimmering equipment. We're going to be using Venom Flurry on those guys a lot. We start up in the right hand section here. And very small change to Dawn of Equinox. Once you get past here, there's a small little scene that plays out. Which is new and just kind of reinforces kind of why you're stuck over here. You're going to run down through, hit this lock, and watch for the zombie. The Google just really doesn't care about you, so don't worry about him. If the zombie ends up chasing you up that little hallway, air push him back. Just be careful about doing it, but you can air push him back down. And so you're just going to do a little bit of like puzzling here, and you're dropping the ladder down, but not using it, going back over, hitting the switch, so that when you come back over this way, the switch is here for you. And in the next room, there's a couple ways you can approach it. I'm going to show the optimal way, which is just kind of running in, hitting your jump, and getting down there as soon as possible, and hugging the left-hand wall. The Wizrobe does not like have enough time to cast his spell if you're just kind of running on through, so hug the wall as closely as possible and just get right in there. We got our grappler now. We start moving around and going all over the place. Stepping on these platforms, you're going to want to wait like a second before you throw the grappler. Very commonly what I'll end up doing is I'll throw the first one and I'll just like whiff it entirely, because like you need to wait a second before the hook comes up or whatever. Don't forget to equip your Spectral Cape that you picked up earlier and get on in this fight. You're going to start with a sunball on the Ghoul. And kind of bad timer on the wizard here. He's going to hit us, but then it's things you just have to deal with. You're going to take a boosted attack with Valere to get rid of this guy. And you're going to want to attack and get this new timer up, see what you're dealing with. 2, so we're going to take 1. And then we're going to go ahead and Venom Flurry. Now, I didn't really look at the HP there. I'm going to guess it was around 160, 170. Yeah, let's stop there. That's overkill. So let's talk about damage on these knives a little bit. I used to have this memorized, so I may be a little bit off with these numbers because it's been a little while, but with the dagger and the shimmering shard equipped and no boost, you're talking 10 damage a dagger. Every boost you add after that, I think it's like 2 or 3 additional damage that you kind of have to consider. So again, I may have this wrong. You may have to tinker with this a little bit to sort of see what I'm saying here, but if you're counting 10 damage per dagger and the enemy has like 150, 160, you always want to do one extra dagger. Now, if you're bad at keeping count in your head, there is the options in the settings menu to add the on-screen like check right there. So when you're doing the daggers, you'll be able to see the count off to the side. After you've come through this place a few times and like you do some counting on the daggers and you look at the damage, you'll start to see and be able to just like know, oh, he's got 164 HP, like I need to do 16 daggers or 17 daggers. Like you'll just kind of know that after running through a few times. 142. I know with everything equipped in 3 boost, it's going to be I think 12. Yeah, and I'm off already because it's, like I said, it's been a while. But the general idea is after doing this a few times, you'll start to understand how much your daggers do with X amount of boost. And then you'll just be able to count out the damage on the Stelphos to minimize how many daggers you have to throw here. So check yourself and do not wreck yourself. Rest if you have to. If Sarai is only missing MP, you can safely proceed, because there will be a couple fights and you'll be able to just build that MP back, but just pretty low on HP there. First fight here, you're going to run up through, wait for the Ghouls to look away. Do be careful though, they can follow you up pretty far up there. So this is the first room in the run that like kind of scares me a little bit. There's a little bit of uncertainty in this room, but we'll see if we can make our way through. This first fight, what I like to do is I like to Crescent Art, get damage on both of them. There are a couple more fights, like I said, so we'll have a chance to build MP back for Valere. Judging on your timers, do what you can to avoid all attacks. Boosting with Sarai will do a lot of damage on either of those enemies, because I believe they both classify as undead. And so we have our first kind of like waiting skip here, so you're going to wait for something specific. You're going to wait for this wizard to teleport away, and for the sprite to be about halfway across. That will make it so you have the most kind of freedom and space to make your way over and across there without having to worry too much. So we're going to run across, hit that switch, we're going to hit this one, and we're going to get ready for Ghoul skip. So I'm gonna try to just do it first, and then we'll talk about it after. Wait for both Ghouls to turn back. Here you kind of want to run along the northern edge and along the side, kind of as wide as you can. Is bad. Yeah, that was really bad. I'll probably cut another video in of it actually done correctly. I got a little caught up coming up the stairs there, so Not a big deal. Like I said, this one kind of has a bit of uncertainty to it, it feels like, so if you get this fight, not a big deal. Don't beat yourself up about it. And like the uncertainty in that skip, Google's had a lot of uncertainty too. They do just random ass attacks. Okay, so now that we're here, we'll talk about the terrain a little bit. Level up, gonna take attack. Take attack. Magic attack. A general rule of thumb, like I said earlier, just take anything that is attack related, if it's available to you. So, since we have a little bit more freedom to look around here, coming across with the Google skip, you're going to want to immediately run over, we hit the switch. Now, what I messed up when I came back through is I kind of went down like a little bit like into here. I kind of like had just a really wide like arc. You want to come down and you want to be very tight about how you go up and around and through here. And if you do it where you're hugging the wall enough, you will be able to sort of safely make your way through. You just need to make sure you're not like bonking here, obviously, and getting caught up on these things. But generally, sticking along the outside will allow you to kind of escape that fight without getting the encounter. And I'll try to put a video in there for that. Anything that is kind of like really specific like that, there may be just like separate videos for later. Coming down, kind of wait for the guy on the left to just not be looking for this to be safe. And come down through, and if you're lucky enough to catch a cycle, the sprite will be heading like kind of right and down like this, and that's what you want. Push this guy out of the way if you have to, depending on whether he's, you know, heading north or heading south. Use your air puff to get him out of the way, 100%. We got our level up early there. We got it on that last fight. Normally you wouldn't get the level up if you're hitting everything until after the next fight. Use this fight to assess who needs MP. And get them as much MP as you can. Now here you're going to watch for this wizard at the top to be going away so that you can run in, hit the switch, and go. And take a moment to assess your health. Make sure everybody has the MP necessary. You're going to want to make sure people have at least 40 HP, so like probably 45 HP minimum. In the event that you end up taking like 2 of the wizard shots, because they do about 20 damage each. So we 100% need a heal on Sarai here. There's a couple ways we can approach this. Depending on your MP with Zale, he needs to have a dash strike for this next fight. So right now, Healing Light would be out of question, because this would bring him down to 5 MP. We need 7. So take a look at your items. Moon Cradle Fish Pie is probably the most viable here in this case. I suppose, though, if you do have a Mushroom Soup, feel free to use that as well. Because the Moon Cradle Pie has an MP heal as well, you can save that for later. Watch your cycles, sneak through. Use Air Puff again if you are feeling brave enough. And when you come up here, immediately go over to the right and get this armor. This is the Revenant armor for Zale, and it'll be the last armor he gets for a little while. Starting this fight, we're going to boost Valere and do a Moonerang. And you're just going to want to try to do as much damage as you can here. A few bounces on each is really all you need. Just try not to let it cut like way too early. And we got good timers on both the wizards, so we don't have to worry about that. You're going to do a dash strike now, and that's going to take out the 3 weaker enemies. This guy is 1 hit away from doing kind of his puff move. So, depending on what his HP is at, I would just go for the Venom Flurry immediately. This way you don't have to deal with his one-timer and him starting to hit you. You absolutely don't want Sarai to die here before she can do this move. And again, if you're familiar with your dagger damages, you do your counts, and you'll know exactly how many daggers you need to throw with no boost, etc., etc. It's been a little while for me, so I don't have that information available offhand at the moment. Oh, wait for a safe cycle coming out of here. It's the last thing you want to do is get caught when you're on your victory lap out. And you're going to want to run down and take a one last heal before you go into the boss. So while there isn't really like a specific script for this boss, it plays out almost the same in the sense that like once you know how to handle the boss, everything is much easier. So very first thing you're always going to do, I say there's no script, but the first thing you're always going to do is disorient. This is going to break one of the bash locks, and then you're going to do a crescent arc to break the moon, another bash lock. This leaves Zale free to do an attack and get some live man on the ground, because Ramaya is almost always going to throw locks on this follow-up turn. We got really lucky here that she didn't, and she threw a 3-timer. Like, this is phenomenal. I would just be like jumping in a run right now. This would be amazing. Normally she'll follow up with a set of 3 locks, which will be a boosted attack from one of your 3 characters. Or she will throw up a set of 8 locks that can be broken with like some specific movement, but we'll kind of wait to see if she does that later in the fight. If she throws you something like this, go ahead and just kind of like let loose a little bit. Be wary of your MP, because you do want to have some available for if she throws some locks in the next round. So I'm going to be a little cautious here. We've got plenty of combo points, so feel free to use some of those up with Solstice Strikes, just to kind of keep the meter down and away from being maxed. So here's one of the first follow-up locks I was talking about. We get a boosted attack from Zale in this case. This is why you always want to have live man on the ground so that you're able to handle this situation depending on what set of locks she throws. And breaking her locks as much as possible here is kind of like your goal in this fight, to give you the most available turns to attack, while letting her do absolutely nothing. So here's our first set of 10. I said 8 earlier. Here's 10. What you're going to do is boost an attack with Sarai for this one. You can either do a boosted attack with Zale if you have plenty of mana, or if you have the MP, you can do a dash strike. You're going to do the pound here. You could do the Moonerang first if you wanted to. Either way, your turn's going to reset and you're going to be able to use Valere again here. And if you do the Moonerang first, then you can use the bash to kind of heal some MP back up, so that probably would have been more optimal. Do the 3 moon attacks on her, and then that's it. And use Sarai commonly to like help keep that boost on the ground if you're like missing some orbs. If she really has nothing else to do, you can use a phase shift or whatever. But of course, if you don't have mana on the ground, like use her for that purpose. So another follow-up block there, we're able to break it with Sarai. And just keep going with the Solstice Strikes. once you kind of know Ramaya's moveset and how to handle it, for the most part, you can pretty much just keep her at bay and let her do absolutely nothing. This is the only set of locks that you just absolutely can't break. So what you're going to want to do is just try to break as much as possible. So just go with like a boosted Solstice Strike. You want to reduce the power on this move as much as you can, because it does hurt quite a bit. Two HP, right? Keep going. You could substitute Crescent Strike in there. I'm just being very wary of MP, but you absolutely should be using up your MP and everything else. So don't necessarily take what I'm doing as like script for script move. Just keep moving in the fight, keep doing damage. You just kind of want to like have a little bit of MP for like a dash strike here if you didn't have the boost for it, because for this one specifically, it's always boosted Sarai. And then if you can boost Zale, go right ahead because it's quicker than doing the dash strike. So again, there's no perfect script for Ramaya. It's just knowing what she can do and what you need to do to be able to counter it and be prepared to counter it, which is always having mana on the ground and just be a little weary of your MP. So you remember earlier we talked about how the wizard is going to kind of be wherever he was when you left the room the first time. So he's going to be right at the door. And if that's the case, hang a hard right immediately as you're coming through. If you don't do this, you can potentially trigger the fight, just like running into him. So be cautious of where he is when you're leaving the room the first time. And try to adapt to that as you're coming out through. So we're done here. We're leaving. On your way out, there is an accessory here that you'll want to pick up by going up this way. A little puzzle. Oh, so this is kind of cool. I like this one. There's two ways you can kind of come down through and just exit out normally. What I've started doing recently is I've been jumping off from this platform and swimming down directly to the dock, because even though you can't climb the dock from the north side, I find it still seems potentially quicker to just climb around and then talk to him from here. So again, bed scene ends. You're kind of in a different area. Last time we started at the top of the stairs up here. This time we started down here, so we just need to talk to Headmaster Marine. And we got Haunted Mansion. Okay, we got chest here we're going to pick up for some money. This first room, you're going to want to go in between the two books. You may have to just kind of practice this one a little bit and feel it out. And in this room, you can either go left or right. I like to go right and kind of up and around. You can go on the left-hand side, but I believe you have to push the set of dancers that is on the left-hand side. Let me get our first fight. Alright, you start with a crescent arc on the center. And we're always going to let this first guy get his attack. You could go in with the poison, but then the other two are going to get to attack in that case. So you always open that up with a crescent strike and then a dash strike. That will take out the locks on the other guy. And then now we can switch in Sarai and do a Venom Flurry. And we want 2 or 3 daggers on each enemy. We're going to do a boosted Crescent Strike this time. And normally the guy on the right will die too. Maybe I've done something a little differently here, but thanks Tires, we don't have to worry about that. I think I normally boost Zale's Dash Strike there, actually, now that I think about it. Or perhaps I was 1 dagger short. Maybe I just needed an extra dagger on each enemy. It was just lacking a little bit of damage. In the food puzzle here, you can just grab any ingredient, grab 1 piece of it, and get Girl to get cooking. So I normally just grab a piece of bread and let him turn that into a ghost sandwich. In this room, I'm going to show the safe way of doing this. There's a fast way of doing this and a safe way. The safe way is probably the route you're going to want to do as you're learning this. So you start by going left, grabbing the crown and coming across here. And then swapping. So you pick up the steel helm and you grab the crown. And again, this is kind of the safe way of doing this. You want to go faster. You can figure out the optimized way of doing this, but as you're learning it, you'll probably want to do something that's safe. So I recommend kind of following this path here, dropping the helmet onto here, and then kind of working your way over to the ladder. It looks scary, but it's not all that bad. Just kind of hug along the walls there, and you should be fine. Up here, you've got 2 sets of heads that you need to adjust this little puzzle. This is 2, 3, 2, 1. 2, 3. 1, 2. 1. And then this side is all 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. And so you have to go back and get this X strike scroll. So of course, if you did started the puzzle over here and ended on the other side, then you would just like run down, drop down, grab it, and exit. So of course, there are more optimized ways of doing this. This is just a recommended safe way of doing it. And then once you're down here, you kind of watch the book cycle and just kind of wait for your chance to go through. I jump down, grab a chest. And this wall has an interesting property, or if you grab the side of it and you climb, you'll see you get like a really quick climb there. So normally you're just kind of like slow to climb, but if you're like mashing your controller's diagonal or directional into the wall side, you usually get a quicker climb like that. So try to do that as much as you can. Actually, I think it only works on that wall. I don't know if it works on any other wall. Enchanted Scarf is... Maybe that's what we did wrong. So normally when you get that Enchanted Scarf, that immediately needs to go on Valere. We kind of just forgot to do that entirely. So normally at that point I would just swap the Enchanted Scarf for the Arcane Amulet and just like that's it. No other changes are necessary. We picked up a piece of armor, a couple pieces of armor like that we can use for Growl. So throw the Spectral Cape on him and throw anything else on him if you want, since he's back in the party. The more important thing you're going to want to do in this menu is to throw a Chaudray on Valere. In the next room, you're going to be using Valere's Moonerang in 2 different fights, so you're going to want to Chaudray before each of those. Give yourself the hook shot, Grapplui into the fight, so you get the live mana boost. Go Moonerang. What was the counter there? Is that 23? Ooh, this is very close. Don't forget to Chaudray yourself so that you can Moonerang in this fight. And with generous timers on the enemies, even if you mess the Moonerang up, just clean up afterwards. If they are getting a chance to hit you, they do quite a bit of damage. So be prepared for that. For the next fight, Zale needs to have some MP. So this looks good. And if you're following Rainbow Conch routing, this will be the next Rainbow Conch you're picking up. For here, you're going to want to make sure you grapple the right-hand enemy. And then you're going to do a timed attack with Valere and a double boost Sunball on the center target. It's very important that you like hookshot into that right hand enemy because he needs to die from the splash damage of the Sunball, and if you hookshot the other enemy, then he will not die from the splash damage. So it's very important that you hit the right hand enemy with that. And so here, Chaudray on Zale. And Sunball, you would think you want to do it on the center target, but you'll want to pick a zombie and commit to that instead. Splash damage will not kill either of the zombies, so you'll want to pick a zombie and just go ahead and kill it. And then usually between Sarai's 2 attacks here, you can finish this fight in 1 HP. Heal up. I'm gonna make a safety save here, because I'll be honest, I'm not very good at this fight. If the video cuts here, it is because the fight went horribly and I had to do it again. So in this next fight, there is a thing you can do with the Moonerang where you can kind of like infinitely time it and do a one-shot on the boss. And I have just personally never been good at that, so I can't show that strat. And so this will kind of follow along more in suit if you're just not a great Mooneranger. I also have a few ideas in my head that I kind of want to try, so again, if you see this video cut kind of around here, it's because my ideas failed and the fight went bad. And alright, if you're watching this, that means the last attempt did not go so well. So, here's to a better attempt. For this fight, despite having all of the combo points, you still want to sort of follow suit to previous strategies and using skills to try to break some of these locks to begin. Even if you take the first 2 turns to boost live mana and then use an X strike, it's not quite enough to kill off all of the divines. So this still seems like a preferred method. We'll get an extra boost out. And then we'll use a triple boost Moonerang. Now, there's a thing you can do where you do like kind of like an infinite going Moonerang here. I've never really been able to do it personally. I'm not very great at Moonerang, so I usually plan for less than optimal damage here. But generally what I'm looking for when I get this speed is for Valere's foot to hit the ground. And I'm kind of timing whenever her foot hits the ground. With is done, try to crank out as much extra damage as you can here. When the vines come back up, we're going to be taking 2 boost and doing an X strike to get back into the next damage phase as quickly as possible. So for whatever turns you have left here, just try to do as much damage as you can, while saving those 2 combo points. So without a boost, Solstice Strike doesn't do a lot of damage here. I would probably just like prepare Zale by doing a normal attack and getting one of those boosts out and ready. You'll be able to clean up in the second damage phase fairly easily in most cases. So again, we need to get some MP back. Those one-timers are nasty. Oh, I meant to go for the X strike there. Okay. So 2 boost, X strike. And you're going to want to make sure you're doing another Moonerang here with Valere. Now, he is low health, so what I'm actually do instead is just disorient to give myself a little bit more breathing room here. And then do like a boosted Crescent Arc and like a Solstice Strike or something. Instead of like doing that Moonerang and like taking the time to do that. Now, if you're not feeling safe about it, go ahead and do the Moonerang. Because it will do much more damage. It just takes more time. Now, I screwed up a little bit here because what I actually wanted to do before I left the room was to take the power bracelet off of Sarai. What you'll want to do is take it off of Sarai and put it on Zale. Because in the next fight, it's going to be Zale and Valere only. So, little mistake I just made there. Hopefully it doesn't make too much of a difference, but if you're able to catch that, you want to remove the power bracelet from Sarai immediately after that fight with Botanical. And if you didn't fight the books, they're still out here, so be careful. Okay. You get a top up, a heal before this fight, so don't worry about healing yourself. In this first round, you're going to want to try to break 2 of these locks. If you're able to do it with a basic attack, do it with a basic attack. Otherwise, use a skill if you have to. I suppose with combo points, that one actually would have been breakable with a Solstice Strike, which could open up new possibilities. But it's not always that you'll get the opportunity to do that, because sometimes you will get a moonlock or a sunlock in there. Use some skills in here to spread out some damage. Erlina and Brugaves are able to do damage on the clone ghost, but not the real ghost, as far as I'm aware. Try not to sit on your MP too much. If you have a mountain of MP, try to use it whenever possible. The main thing also is you want to keep live mana out on the ground for breaking locks, and you want to try to have Solstice Strike available at all times if you can. While we can break this on our own, we'll get a little bit of help from our bro Graves. In some cases, you're really gonna like rely on and hope that he does moon attacks to break some of these locks. And let's end this phase. Sometimes if you get nice timers and kind of like a lack of locks, you can kind of use the boost on the ground to like boost a sunball and boost a moonerang and just like be done with it a little bit earlier. Just kind of like wait for your opening if she keeps bombarding you. So phase 2, we're back to this game of like we need to have live mana on the ground and we need to have like 2 Solstice Strikes available at all times. Like, so this is kind of a bad place to start. That is a big ugly lock. We're gonna hope for some help here. Maybe Erlina will do something. I guess not. So what's kind of nice about this fight is you don't need to worry too much about taking the damage. Moraine has this heal command that he can use, and you swap between this and the Ruin, and while the Ruin command helps you do more damage, during the times that you're going to want to be building up live mana on the ground, it's kind of the perfect time to line up your heals with that. So where we're going to be doing a couple of attacks anyways to kind of get some live mana out, this is like the perfect time that we can kind of lean on heal. We don't need to worry about having the Ruin up. Right, so this needs to be done right now. And I'm going to take this chance to get our second Solstice Strike and our second boost. We'll throw the Ruin back up. Being nice to us. So I'm going to take one of those boosts. I'm going to use a Moonerang. It's kind of like this delicate balance you want to do in this fight of being prepared for locks and then like dealing some serious damage with either Moonerang or Sunball. And again, sitting on a mountain of MP is not something you want to do. If you notice you have a lot of MP, try to use that as soon as possible. But try not to put yourself out either for live mana or Solstice Strikes. And just kind of go with the flow. Erlina and Brigades are going to do their thing, so just, you know, you're stuck waiting on it. There's no way around that. Ooh, that was a mistake on my part. I wanted to do a Solstice Strike there. This is okay. We can handle this. So I'm going to treat myself in that case by doing some damage. So you'll notice a weak animation has kicked in. And so here's one of these like kind of nasty locks that we're looking at. You'd want to use the boost here so that you can actually do damage while breaking these locks and kind of hitting those other moons so that you don't have to rely on Erlina and Brigades. But they will help you out from time to time. Right, so like we'll still be able to break this, you know, thankfully. But we just weren't able to do the damage that would have been associated with it. And again, weak damage or weak animation, so just like do that last hit, get it out. You're pretty close at this point. You know, and the summary is really just balancing your live mana, your solstice strikes, and then doing your damage. Your Moonerang, your Sunball. And with that, you're going to come talk to Yolan, and that'll end this section. We'll wrap up with Cataclysm, and then we'll call it a wrap on Act 3. So in Cataclysm, you'll want to open up with Crescent Arc, and you can do Sunball here. You can get away with doing Dash Strike in most cases. Now, I never equipped the Power Belt on Zale, so I don't think Dash Strike will end up killing. I'm going to go ahead with the Sunball here. Oh, and I suppose you were supposed to switch target on that. That's my bad. We'll just clean up real quick. That was a little oopsies. In general, again, anything that is attack related, there is something a little specific about this level up that I'll call out here, and that's Sarai's MP. So at this point, you want Sarai to have 11 MP if possible. So because she has 10 right now, we're going to go ahead and select the MP upgrade here. That is mainly because Sea of Nightmare, you rely on Sarai's Venom Flurry and Valere's Moonerang quite a bit. And so 11 MP is just very nice to have in that section. So we'll use our hookshot to climb up here, and we're kind of just following through. Hookshot. Once you climb up onto platforms, you can pretty much just mash the hookshot button, and it will take you where you need to go. Push your block, jump down so that you don't jump on top of the block, just saves you a little bit. And once you get up here, don't push any directionals, just mash the grapple button. This is going to give you a boost that you need, and I did not heal Zale, so I was supposed to use an MP item on Zale here, and I totally messed that up. So what you would have done before this fight is you would have used a Chaudray on Zale. We'll kind of just let him do his thing. And then when you come into the fight, you would have taken the boost Sunball on the one that had the one-timer, which would have been this guy, but now we'll do it on this guy. And then from there, you would have just cleaned up with Valere's Crescent Arc on the other enemy. So that Chaudray was supposed to happen before the fight so that Zale could use that immediately. And then after this fight, we're going to use our remaining 2 Chaudrays on Valere and Zale. And so you'll remember in Brisk, we had bought 6 and giving us 7 Chaudrays in total. And I specifically called out that this is the number that you're going to want to have. And when I use the last one, I'll call it out. And this is kind of why. You want to have those Chaudrays available for right up until this point. This will be the last fight in Cataclysm. And I didn't hookshot in for some reason. You'll want to hookshot in, take your boost, and do the Moonerang on here, and then follow it with Dash Strike, and hopefully this still works out for us. I got a little caught up in what I was saying. Overall, a terrible Cataclysm, but hopefully I still explained the points that needed to be made there. Right, and that's Cataclysm. So, you would talk to Captain. This is going to be the end of the section. We'll call it for Act 3 right here. And in the next video, we'll go into Sea of Nightmare. So we'll see you over there in Part 4.